Good evening. It's 6 p.m. We'll call to order the meeting of the Auburn Common Council. We'll begin with a moment of silent meditation or reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll move on to roll call. Councilman Fincham.
Here.
Councilman Braun.
Here.
Councilman Webb.
Here.
Councilwoman DeWitt.
Here.
Councilman Williams.
Here.
Councilman Bundy.
Here.
Councilwoman Prosser.
Here.
Council, in front of you, you have the minutes from the September 16th regular meeting.
Move to approve as presented. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Recognition of visitors, we have quite a few, so welcome. Please know if you've signed in, we'll ensure that you are entered into the official record for tonight's meeting. And moving on to communications, we have a proclamation for domestic violence to proclaim October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So, anyone would like to come forward? We have a large group.
I don't know, because she was here. I just, oh yeah, like I was just, what, I was just.
And Paul. Okay. October 2025. Whereas the city of Auburn is committed to eliminating domestic violence, and whereas throughout our city, domestic violence traumatizes victims, endangers children, harms families, and threatens Auburn. And whereas during Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we renew our commitment to prevent and hold accountable the perpetrators of these tragic crimes and bring encouragement and healing to those who have been impacted by them. And whereas domestic violence can take many forms and can affect anyone, regardless of economic, racial, cultural, generational, religious, or gender status. And whereas 1 in 4 women will experience domestic violence in her lifetime. And whereas witnessing violence between one's parents or caretakers is the strongest risk factor of transmitting violent behavior from one generation to the next. And whereas DeKalb County Domestic Violence Task Force and the YWCA Northeast Indiana is dedicated to eliminating racism, empowering women, and promoting peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all by providing education about healthy relationships, changing attitudes away from supporting violence, and advocating for victims, empowering them to stay safe, reach their goals, and achieve self-sufficiency. Now, therefore, I, Dave Clark, Mayor of the City of Auburn, do hereby proclaim October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Auburn, Indiana, to be affixed this 7th day of October, 2025. Congratulations, ladies and Paul.
Thank you.
Who wants to be in the middle? Is it Brayson?
I think that should be you.
Okay.
Okay.
We may need to squeeze in here. He'll get one cheek for Brandon.
Okay.
Everyone say cheese. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I found my new favorite color.
Oh, there are flyers about our conference coming up at the end of the month, if anyone is interested. And I also got some brochures.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Moving on, is there anyone in the public that would like to address the council?
I would, sir.
Okay, please come up and state your name and your address.
My name is Matt Johnson.
Oh, please come up to the microphone, sir.
I'm sorry, I thought it was that one. My name is Matt Johnson. I'm a resident of Auburn. I've lived here for 40 years plus. In the night of the fair shooting, I was left in the dark. I'm not a person that uses Facebook. I'm not a person that really is affiliated with any group in this area. I select my friends in my group, and that's who I talk to. I waited all night for updates. I didn't get anything. I reached out to a sergeant major in the Army that I'm friends with. Around 11:40 at night, he sent me more information from Hindustan, which is a region in India, about what happened at our fair. Now, I know the men and the women that are on patrolmen and the deputies are brave, and their response time was tremendous. However, the leadership kind of left me in the dark. I had to wait the next morning to call. I was just calling for a press briefing to find out when, because I have a 17-year-old son that needed to go to that fair to serve as a Boy Scout. And I told him he couldn't go until I found out what was going on. Around 2 o'clock, I guess. I didn't find out till about 4:30 because of my job. And the man that sits behind me right here is probably one of the most bravest men I know. He's always been on my most bravest list. I know things about him that most people don't know. But 1-0 screws up 10 attaboys every time. And I'm very disappointed with the response. And my question to the council is that the procedure? If something were to happen at our schools, you're just going to shut the phones off and ignore us and wait? I was scared. There was a lot of people scared. I'm just willing to stand up, Mr. Mayor. And
Well,
I would hope you have a better plan for the next time. We dodged a bullet that night.
Well, we submitted a response to the newspaper in regard to some questions that we did receive. And when we put information out, first we will make sure it's accurate. We want to ensure that we're not impeding the investigation in any way. These officers were here till 4 in the morning.
I was up till 4
We
in the
did
morning.
receive calls from news crews and let them know we did not have any updates this time, and information will be provided. We ensured that all agencies work together to put out the report, which did come out, I believe, Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, it was about 2 p.m. But they had worked on that all morning.
Not to interrupt you, sir. I wasn't interested about the facts. I was just interested to know if it was safe to go up for my son. That's all I needed to know.
And did you ask, like, I know you had called the mayor's office.
And I
and
called the
chief.
dispatch and I got voicemail both times. I've called the mayor's office twice in the 40 years I've lived here. And both times I got voicemail. Now, however, in the defense of the last administration or 2 administrations ago, I did call on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So, but
Did
if
you
that
speak
is
with-
the procedure in an emergency situation, we look to you guys for guidance.
We will ensure we always get information out as soon as we can. I will say, did you call the PD on Thursday morning?
8:31, and I called your office 8:32, got a voicemail.
And on that call was a bunch of swear words.
It doesn't
and
matter
so
what I
forth.
said, Your Honor, or Mr. Mayor. We were all scared. I'm just the only person in this town that seems to be willing to speak up. And if you don't like what I said, I don't have to be sorry for that. I'm frustrated. And I know other people were frustrated.
And that's why we ensured when we put the information out as soon as we could.
All
that
you had
it
to do
was
is say what the
accurate.
coast was clear, sir. You didn't have to give me the details. You didn't have to give anybody the details. I know as a citizen that you're restrained by what you can say and what you can do, but all clear sign is all I need. That's really all I needed. I don't need to know the details. And the fact it took so long leaves room for people will speculate things or rumors. And the quicker you can communicate safety to the public is better. I served in the Army, and everybody from the general to the lowest private knew the orders. I don't feel like this community is open enough or transparent enough. As a disabled vet, I can wake up every day and call a VA hotline and find out the status of VA if things have been changed. I can wake up and pull up the news and see my president speaking every day. I would expect my local mayor to have a system where he can communicate that, not a voicemail. You got so many calls.
You say a voicemail.
I got a voicemail. I would expect my mayor's office to have an announcement. I mean, if I'm getting it from my VA and my president, why can't my mayor have a daily announcement? That's all I'm asking, sir. I mean,
Right.
It appears to me you don't have a plan for emergencies. That's how it appears.
We do.
I know you do. I've been working with the school. There's a lot of people working hard with their hands tied behind their back. But what if this event would have happened at school? What are we parents supposed to do? If it happens at the high school, you're going to have 7,000 people rushing. Now, you might have a plan to stop us, but you're not going to stop 7,000. Not with the force we have. These guys are stretched so thin right now. So thin. And I feel like I don't want to be the one to point out why. It's obvious why. And I travel from Leo to Grable to Angola to Kendallville with my job. I see what's going on. I do. And it's time for this community to make the community aware of what's happening. The president has listed the Mexican cartel as part of the war on terror. He's also listed Antifa as part of the war on terror. These people are not across seas. This war is on our soil. And these guys are spread thin with just the day-to-day functions, the car wrecks, the domestic. One of the most violent things these guys have to walk into is a domestic violence call. And they see that more often than not. I looked up something on the internet. There was a shooting within 3 blocks of my house. 3 months ago, there was a car stolen. The rumors were said it was from a gang out of Angola. And then when I read that the fair shooting was associated in Angola, I have to scratch my head. We need to be able to communicate honestly to everybody in the community, not keep things secret. And that's all I'm asking, sir. I appreciate everyone's service on this council. I appreciate this man. I don't think he personally likes me, but I'll pray for him. But he is one of my biggest heroes. And I've seen all kinds of acts of valor. And he made that list. Not too many people make that list for me.
Can I add one thing? And I know at one time with AES, we were talking about doing a reverse 911. The problem is, though, that would only reach phone call or phones that are attached to AES. I don't think it would reach everyone. We've had discussions in the past of trying to find a way to push information out, but with the population so diverse on how they receive information and who actually has landlines anymore, it makes it more difficult. But there was discussion at one time, and maybe we need to open up that kind of discussion.
I would appreciate dialogue
before.
on communication, because I got off Facebook probably when my son was 2, because I'm just not the type that puts up with the day-to-day drama of who's eating what and who's going where, because I care less. I'm trying to raise my son by myself. Now, I know I haven't been the most perfect citizen in the past, and I've gotten help from the VA. I've recognized what combat did to me. And the rumors that I was hearing from my limited sources left me to wide open speculation that night. Trust me, I was on guard duty for my own house. because it's happened crimes are happening in my neighborhood that I've never seen before in the 40 years I've lived here. And I'm not trying to be adversarial and get in anybody's face. I'm just disappointed. And I think as a mayor, as a leader, you can say, hey, good morning, Auburn. This is Mr. Mayor. We got the situation contained within minutes. And the investigation is ongoing, but it's safe to return to the fair. That's all I needed to know. I didn't really need to leave my son at home worried if there was somebody still on the loose. I didn't need that. And I don't think a lot of people in this town needed it. And then I don't want to leave a bitter taste in this council's mouth about me personally or with your force personally, Mr. Heffelfinger. I just want to express my concerns in an open dialogue. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Hearing none, we'll move on. Clerk Treasurer.
Good evening. I have the current vouchers for, excuse me, $8,083,772.06. I will mention the vouchers are a little bit high this time. I did have the AEP bill. We had to void and reissue just in the system. So it appears higher than it really is because you're not seeing the void, just so everybody knows.
Move to approve. Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the vouchers. Any questions or discussion, comments?
Oh, yes. I'm glad I read my notes. Thank you. I will be abstaining on number 96599 for Web Concrete Construction of the Water Department for $7,950. I'm employed by that company.
If there's no other questions or comments, I'll call for a question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. I also have the August bank reconciliation complete and it is out on the website for your review. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to ordinances and resolutions.
Ordinance number 2025-20, an ordinance for the appropriation of tax rates for the 2026 budget year. Summary. This ordinance sets forth the expenses of the city government and its institutions for the year ending December 31st, 2026, and the sums of money shown below are appropriated by this ordinance and ordered set apart out of the funds herein named and for the purposes herein specified, subject to the laws governing the same. Such appropriated sums shall be held to include all expenditures authorized to be made during the year, unless otherwise expressly stipulated and provided for by law. In addition, for the purpose of raising revenue to meet the necessary expenses of the city government, estimated tax rates are shown and included herein. General Fund, Mayor, $105,100. Clerk Treasurer, $105,970. Common Council, $30,250. Municipal General, $2,102,100. City Attorney, $194,000. City Engineer, $124,650. Building Department, $217,250. Purchasing City Hall, $103,250. Plan Commission, $16,323. Board of Zoning Appeals, $8,525. Port Authority, $75,000. City Administration Division, Information Systems, $1,226,650. City Administrative Division, Human Resources, $38,665. Tree Commission, $50,000. Police Department, $3,759,160. Fire Department, $87,700. Total General Fund, $8,244,593. Estimated tax rate, 0.1793. Riverboat Wagering Fund, 0. Rainy Day Fund, 0. Motor Vehicle Highway Fund unallocated, $2,500,000. $541,700. Motor Vehicle Highway Fund allocated $300,000. Estimated tax rate 0.3364. Local Road and Street Fund $44,800. Park and Recreation Fund $1,498,230. Estimated tax rate 0.2247. Local Law Enforcement Continuing Education Fund $19,750. Park Non-Reverting Fund $41,225. LRB Community Crossing Grant Fund $2,030,000. Public Safety Lit Fund $1,809,696. Fire Territory Fund $3,773,900. Estimated tax rate 0.4593. Cumulative Fire Equipment Fund $204,500. Estimated tax rate 0.0466. Cumulative Capital Development Fund $415,000. Estimated tax rate 0.0719. Cumulative Capital Improvement Fund $30,000. Auburn Redevelopment Commission Fund $3,340,200. Lit Seated Fund $1,506,445. Police Pension Fund $51,935. Go Bond Debit Service Fund $376,200. Estimated tax rate 0.0755. Help Grant Fund $100,000. Total 2026 budget all government funds $26,328,174. Total estimated tax rate 1.3937. I move that we pass ordinance number 2025-20 on first reading.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to pass ordinance 2025-20. We'll suspend the council meeting, open up the public hearing. Is there anyone in the public that would like to address the council in regards to ordinance 2025-20? Is there anyone in the public that would like to step forth to discuss ordinance 2025-20? Close the public hearing. Reconvene the council meeting. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? I would just like to commend the council, clerk's office, mayor's office, department heads. One thing I want to point out, this is first reading, obviously. However, compared to the 2025 budget, I think we've done a diligent job. We've reduced the budget just over $2 million between 2025 and 2026. And since the new administration came in, we've all worked together and reduced it total by just over $3 billion. So I just want to commend everybody for that hard work, including the departments. If there's no other questions or discussion, I'll call for a question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I'd like to make a motion to remove ordinance 2025-18 from the table.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, to remove ordinance 2025-18 from the table. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance removed.
Ordinance number 2025-18, an ordinance establishing pay classifications and salary ranges of appointed officers and employees of the city of Auburn, Indiana for the year 2026. Summary, following is a proposed ordinance fixing the salaries of appointed officers and employees of the city of Auburn, Indiana for the year 2026. I move that we pass ordinance number 2025-18 on first reading.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, to pass ordinance 2025-18. Any questions or discussion?
Yes, please. Looking at this, many years we've done this ordinance and stuff, and I think we've lost track a little bit of the salary ordinance for the basic employees, separate from the elected officials. This is a cost of living raise that we're looking at for the brackets that are proposed in the ordinance. And then everybody's wage gets a cost of living. We've done various different percentages over the years due to the cost of living. And we need to factor in too that the mayor and the department heads are reviewing all the employees throughout the year and looking at merit raises. So this is not just, this is all you get, move on. It's just a basic cost of living raise for the salaried employees. Now, there are several wages in this category, or in this ordinance, I'm sorry, that are kind of merit-based that we need to review a little better than just giving a merit raise or a cost of living raise. So as we get down into example, most of them are brackets and ranges. The city attorney, I assume that the attorney and the mayor have looked over that and decided that this is an adequate raise for the city attorney and the hourly legal rate. I have been on here, about 13 years, and it used to be $100. And every year for 4 years, I complained about that not being enough. At $250, I think is a good rate.
We can talk about it though. I mean, I'm just kidding.
You want to lower it?
Yeah, never mind. Let's not talk about it.
We can go back to $100.
I'm planting seeds here. So yeah, I do, if you want to bring something up about the attorney now, let's speak up. But then looking at the other brackets, we have brackets, and then we get down into, I'm following here, there's a lot of pages. So yeah, we get down into next group that is not bracketed, and that is the board members, like plan commission members and zoning appeals. And I think the mayor told me that was adjusted a year or two ago from
Last year.
So I assume that we're looking pretty good. So that would be a merit raise on that, because if you just do cost of living, it doesn't keep up with what the workload is and what they're doing. So I'm good with that. And then we get down into Board of Works members. So I think we're lacking here in Board of Works members is if you take over year after year and just do a cost of living raise, I don't think that position is being paid for what work they're performing. We have, in the time just before I got here, they started the AES internet service. So the board members, have just got a cost of living raise since that time. And here we got a lot more responsibility and a lot more, just in general, by the way the city and the state ordinances are requiring of everybody and all the contracts and signing and stuff like that. So then the other point about the Board of Works is that none of that money comes out of the general fund, correct? Am I correct
It does
on that?
not.
So you're looking at the 3 utilities in AES that are all fee-based units paying for the Board of Works members. So I would like to look at that and maybe amend that. And but I'm going to pause, see if anybody else wants to say anything about that before I do that.
I know that don't get the opportunity to attend a lot of Board of Works meetings, but what I do see of it and what I do hear of them is that they are always well prepared, well educated on the things that they're forced to deal with. So I certainly feel like some type of a merit increase above the cost of living increase would be justified.
I appreciate this discussion. I know that we have a wage case study for the employees that's not quite finished yet. Also, with the changes that we have in SB1 coming down the track, I really don't see it being advantageous for us to move forward with any sort of raises until we know what the implications of that will be. That's my thought process on it. And until we have the wage case study for the employees, I don't know that we can make a case to move forward with any sort of decisions with the budget or salaries.
I guess go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, I feel like we're talking about two different things between elected officials and employees. The wage study for the hourly employees, the city employees, is not going to change what the wage study we had done for elected officials already is. Other than with the exception of possibly the Board of Works, will that be included in that wage study,
That's in there, yeah.
in the employee wage study that we're still waiting
Correct.
for?
Yep.
As to the effects of Senate Bill 1, I feel like that is putting more pressure and adding more responsibility to what they're forced to do as part of their job. And I believe that can be seen as a justification for increasing their merit pay based on the responsibilities they're assuming.
Yeah, I feel that the rate study is needed and there's a purpose for that, but I don't think it really affects the Board of Works or the elected officials. We're looking at a merit when what they do, and I think we've been behind the eight ball for a lot of years on these positions. So I'm going to make a motion that we bump the Board of Works to biweekly $278.26.
Second.
Any other discussion?
I just want to make sure we have our employees taken care of before we do elected officials and things of that sort. So my concern was the study, doing anything before the study comes out so we can have all the data. And if the money's there, then yeah. And after we take care of the employees, fantastic. That's my position. I think they come first, in my opinion.
I agree with that.
Same.
I mean, they're appointed, they're not elected.
Yeah, it's not like it's a full-time job for them. I mean, yeah, they put a lot of hours in, don't get me wrong, but it's not like an employee that's putting 40 hours or more in a week. It's a job.
Just like council.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, yeah.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none, we have a motion and a second to increase the Board of Works biweekly pay to $278.26. So we'll vote on that first. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
No.
Hey,
That motion died. Okay. Any other questions or discussion on ordinance 2025-20 itself?
It's 18.
Oh, so, excuse me, 18. Thank you. Hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I'd like to make a motion to remove ordinance number 2025-19 from the table.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to remove salary ordinance 2025-19 from the table. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate the statement before. It's hard for me to vote in favor of this when we don't know if we can take care of our
Hold on.
city.
You should probably wait until we get it off the table to do this.
I'm sorry.
This is just to get it off the table. I got to
Oh,
reread it. and
Oh,
then-
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So do you have any on,
No.
on the motion to remove from the table?
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks,
gotcha.
Councilman. Okay, hearing none, I'll call for question. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Removed.
Ordinance number 2025-19, an ordinance fixing the salaries for elected officers of the city of Auburn for the year 2026. Summary, this ordinance proposes to fix the salaries for elected officers of the city of Auburn for the year 2026. I move that we pass ordinance number 2025-19 on first reading.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second to pass ordinance number
All right.
2025-19. Any questions or discussion?
I was confused. My apologies.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
Sorry, I've lost track. Are we still voting to take it off the table or are we
No,
now?
we've
discussing
already
it?
done
already-
that. Now
I've
we're in
read it.
discussion.
Okay, thank you. Part of the reason I lost track is I was getting ready to pull up some information I wanted to bring up. So last year we had this conversation, and I was one of the members that asked for a wage study that we can compare elected official wages to local communities. We received that. I glossed across or haven't seen yet what we paid for this study. But I feel like this study showed that we were well below market average on the majority of our salaries. And I would anticipate that this year that's going to continue to be the case. Those other communities are going to raise their wages. We have a mayor and a clerk treasurer who worked incredibly hard with their department heads and have significantly reduced the city's budget. They do a good job at the job they do for just being 2 years into it. So again, I'll follow Councilman Webb's lead and lead some comment for some comment, but I do feel like we need to adjust these, and I'll make that motion here unless somebody else.
I'll just say, I have nothing to argue with what Councilman Braun has said. However, without having the wage study for the employees and knowing if they're being compensated correctly, I have a hard time giving ourselves and the mayor and the clerk their an additional raise above and beyond without knowing that study as well. So I'm not arguing with anything you're saying there. I just have a hard time doing it.
And I understand that completely, but I will point out that this wouldn't be the first time that we have pulled out a certain category or classification of employee and raised their salary above what we were raising everyone else's because we feel that was justified.
Not
But
as
in-
an elected official.
But in the school corporation, I face the same thing as a teacher versus administration. I see administrators giving their raise first sometimes, and then we get ours later when we negotiate it, and we don't feel like it's fair. So I that's why I have a hard time doing it. I totally understand the other side.
When will the wage study be returned? Do we know when that's coming back?
No, we don't.
When does this ordinance have to, when does this have to be done to be sent down to the state?
November 1st.
And I feel the same way Jim does on this issue. And after we get that study, maybe we can go back and amend it and make that change at that point.
Is that a possibility once it's done, or is that not in the budget since the budget will? Is that something we can go back
There's
to?
always a small buffer in the wages, for overtime and so forth.
Sure.
The numbers that are in each individual budget were based on 2.5%. And how we came up with that proposal was we looked at what our projected revenues are going to be and worked different percentages to see what are we able to give employees this year.
So this is something we can revisit once the wage study is back.
Well, you could, you'd have to do an amendment to the ordinance, is that correct? However, or discuss it next year. There's a couple different options.
We have to have the finalized budget in by November 1st. And after that, it gets, I'm not going to tell you we can't do it. I think it gets very sticky and difficult once the budget is finalized. I mean, that budget has overages for the purpose of overtime. It's got some cushion for the purpose of overtime and all that. So technically, could you dip into that to make those changes? But then you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. So if you don't do it now, it's probably next year.
And I would like to just elaborate on what the city attorney mentioned. There's also a buffer in there because the department heads do go through and evaluate employees. So they do factor in merits and things as well each and every year. But just to elaborate on that a little further.
Well, I think part of it with this SB1 that's coming out, nobody knowing what's going to happen, we can't get too far out on the limb, I don't think.
And I think looking at other communities and what they're doing within their budgets, we've seen as high as 4%. We've seen as low as 2%. We've seen some communities not do any COLA. So 2.5% feels reasonable.
I just feel that we need to look at this as a merit raise and not a cost of living raise. We started, like I said, the AES. There's only three other communities in the state that even have that, and the workload that is on the mayor and the clerk. And I know that the laws and rules that have been dumped on the clerk over the last 5 or 6 years have probably made a lot more work in that department. And I just feel that we need to look at this separately from any wage study. We've had some wage studies. We've reviewed the police and fire departments and did a thing for them a couple of years ago. So I'm just think we're off base by not doing a merit raise this time around.
Any other questions or discussion?
I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we set the mayor's salary at $3,530.10 biweekly, the clerk treasurer's salary at $3,449.69 biweekly, and council salary at $278.26 biweekly.
Second.
Councilman, what was that second number? 3449?
For the clerk treasurer, $3,449.69.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any discussion or questions on that motion? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote on the motion to set the mayor's salary at $3,530.05, clerk at $3,449.69, and council at $278.26. If there's no other questions or discussion, I'll call for a question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Now,
Motion died due to lack of ayes. Okay. We still have a motion, a second, on ordinance 2025-19. Is there any further discussion or question? Hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, moving on to reports from the mayor. I would just like to remind everybody that tomorrow evening from 6 to 7 p.m. here in the council chambers, we will have HWC Engineering, and they'll be hosting a public forum open house for the downtown revitalization plan. And that's all I have under mayor. Brings us to council president.
Just want to thank all the departments for their hard work during the fair, our first responders for what happened that Wednesday night. My family was downtown, and it was a night to remember that I don't want to relive, if at all possible. So those tiny kids had really hard discussions with their families, and I was one of them, and it was something I don't want to ever do again. So Thank you for all your help.
I'd be happy to share some information on that as well. So basically, that night of the shooting, it was Wednesday, September 23rd, about 8:23 is when we got the first call. We had officers on scene within 2 minutes. During that time, as proceedings, multiple officers responded from Auburn, DeKalb County Sheriff, State Police. We detained approximately 8 people. And during that time, it was so chaotic, we had another 30 people screaming, hollering at us, where we had to start taking people to the side to figure out what happened. Also during that, we had 25 different stories. So-and-so is a shooter, all this. We proceeded I talked with one of the suspects on the phone, got him to come back to the city. They took him down as a felony stop. We had to resort all of our resources there because the crowd was rushing the officers on a felony stop. So we had to delay the further investigation to protect them and literally put officers behind because there's 20, 30 people converging on the traffic stop. From there, we came uptown by 12:30 a.m. Within 4 hours, we had our suspect in custody in Angola. We still had misinformation of multiple shooters. We knew we had 2 spent casings we found at the scene and 1 live round that was round, which was different. So therefore, we had 2 different weapons. So we know we had multiple guns on the scene. By approximately 3:30 in the morning, we completed the interviews of the suspects or people we had detained that we knew who they were. Myself and Detective Barton left about 4:30. Detective Barton was home at 5 and back in here by 7:30 in the morning to continue this investigation. I was back up at 8:30 speaking with the prosecutor's office, having a meeting to set the timeline for the press release. And to Mr. Johnson's comment, again, we wanted it to be known before the fair opened, but the fair doesn't open until 4 o'clock. That was on a Thursday. So I met with the prosecutor's office, the mayor, and my office. We did a press release. From that point in time, we then met with the fair board and the Bolanders who run or operate Port Jacks. By 2 o'clock, we had a press release out on our one we knew was one of the shooters through investigation. But however, we continued the investigation the whole week. By Friday, the next day, we had somebody making a threat on social media. We immediately went to Garrett, took him into custody, and put him in jail. Pursuing that night, we had decided it was basically all hands on deck. All the second shift was in, all the third shift came in. I requested 6 state troopers and about 8 sheriff's deputies. We're all in downtown, as many probably have seen. During that time, we responded to multiple fights, including these 2 groups who were, again, from out of town, converging on each other. All these guys responded to every one of these fights. We ultimately, I think, detained 4 or 5 juveniles that night, arrested 3 or 4 other people, and we just basically, for the first time ever, to my knowledge, in the DeKalb County Fair, we trespassed people from the fair because that's their private venue that they went to Board of Works for closure. So it's their venue, their operation. That night, we trespassed 5 other individuals. While we were doing so, just the lack of respect out of the youth and the young adults, there was a fight directly across the intersection with 14 officers standing there. They didn't care. Come following Friday night, we did the same thing. We actually brought more guys in for interview. We arrested another individual who had a gun during that incident. To this day, we're still looking on. We just identified 2 other witnesses that we believe have video. We have them on video from a business that came forth where we have a lot of this incident on video. So we're trying to identify those 2 people, which we have today. And hopefully tomorrow we'll have that video of them, of the group that beat the other individual. The goal, our belief is we're going to have probably another 8 to 10 arrests within the next week or so on this. Again, I'll stand beside all these guys that responded in such a quick fashion. And, all the dozens of text messages, phone calls, emails. I only had 1 complaint. That was from Matt Johnson. All the people coming up to us day in, day out from Friday or Wednesday to Saturday Only one person came up that had a negative person to me, and that was Matt Johnson. So I take that as a tremendous pride that these guys did a great job in handling that situation.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Or-
Anything else?
No,
Plan Commission?
So next week, we will have a plan commission meeting. New business on the agenda would be a parking lot over where at 300 block of East 7th Street. So that's the city that's petitioning that. So that's the only new business. There's also an address report. Unfortunately, I will not be back in town. I land at about 4:45 or 4:50 in Detroit, and I don't think I can make it back in time for that meeting. Sorry, Mr. Mayor,
Probably not.
but
Would it help if the police chief gave you an
probably not. I probably need a helicopter to fly me down, so but I won't be there.
Thank you. Committees?
Nothing for tax phase in.
Nothing currently for ordinance and resolution.
nothing for finance. We'll be sure to add on the top of our list to go over the wage case studies for next year.
Any unfinished business to come before the council? Any new business? General good and welfare of the community?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to congratulate the girls' golf team. They won a regional championship and advanced to the state finals, and they had a fantastic year. So just want to congratulate them.
And boys tennis, did they win regionals?
Boys tennis, they won sectional.
Sectionals.
I don't know if they won regional or not.
All right, thank you. Any other things under the goods? Next regular council meeting is Tuesday, October 21st, 2025 at 6 p.m.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Can I vote more than once since I didn't get to make the motion?